Well. The Demiurge of Alt-Idol, Watanabe, Junnosuke. While the effigy of your legend lays there, hopefully as uncomfortably as he possibly can be, I want you to listen to me. All his followers too. I want you to digest this. Because before I leave in 3 weeks with your history of anti-idol, I've got a lot of things that I want to get off my chest. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate whack. I don't even dislike whack. I do like whack. I like the roster and alumni a lot more than most idol labels. I hate this idea that Watanabe gets ooh-wooified. A self-proclaimed proud chauvinist who's made a career out of taking advantage then aura farming from the fruits of labor of young women who are on the outskirts of the idol arts, simply aspiring to make it in this world with strength in numbers. He platformed their craft, but at what cost? Putting his workers through psychological and physical torture, haunting this house with trauma and a nihilistic, apathetic philosophy that these Reddit-addicted so-called punks have, so-called rebels have adopted. I hate this idea that this is supposed to be a form of rebellion for our entertainment, because it's not. It's not the alternative, nor revolutionary in any way, to turn the emotional and physical abuse of idols and workers into simply a quirky trait at best, and a part of the entertainment at worst. Even if you're not on the receiving end, he's still an abrasive person with an undying angst without a cause, like the time he used blackface as a form of aura farming. Remember that weight loss challenge? And they see this guy as a sweet cinnamon bun? That's why I'm verbally and spiritually piecing up Watanabe right now as a part of my art! Whoops, breaking the fourth wall! I am the last outlaw of Alt-Idol. I've been an outlaw ever since day one when I walked into this subculture, and I've been radicalizing my friends and polarizing the marks since that day. Because the goth scene saw something in me that Watanabe stands and other geeks of their ilk didn't want to admit. That's right, I'm a goth girl. Isn't that freaking obvious? You know who else is a goth girl? Tsukishiro Himari. And she split just like I'm splitting, but the difference is between me and her is that I'm leaving with the history of anti-idol. Upon workshopping my life as an idol from 2023-2024, I've checked so many of their imaginary boxes of what constitutes as a real idol that one day it just finally dawned upon me that they're completely imaginary. Those boxes are completely imaginary, and it's all just another form of control from these marks because they're too fragile to handle idols that are independent, self-governing, beautifully, powerfully imperfect gals and gays, and what have you. But the fact that this type of policing doesn't go to bad actors who may actively harm the people of our communities and our idols makes me sick! And let's not get it twisted. Those of you who are rooting against the institution of idol journalists right now, you're just as big of a part of me leaving than anybody else. Once upon a time, I used to interview musicians. Let me show you a microcosm of this whole cult of hypocrisy that grew from the cult of JSK in some branches. Almost exactly a year ago to this day, I went to Carteret, New Jersey for Natsu Matsuri to interview a fellow cool goth chick from the idol world, and to interview congoers on what they think of the state of Alt-Idol, Kaigai idols, and a Korean alt-idol group by the name of Dreamcatcher. And I was dismissed, belittled, and ridiculed for daring to co-sign the same type of music that they love, which happens to just be from South Korea, a country that they didn't want in the equation, and conducting an interview with a completely consenting adult who happens to be an idol. Go ahead and investigate, only to find out that she, the translator, and I had a great time and liked the final product of that article. Police that. No, really, tell me what Lisa, a struggling writer who looks like this and wore this very shirt on the same day, did to deserve the bullying on behalf of jerks who took advantage of their power before she was able to show up in the equation. They judged my character based on the history of an occupation that had a few bad actors in the past. Most people hated their gym teachers, and if I was kind and polite to you and then suddenly, hypothetically, you find out that I work as a gym teacher, would you berate me on the spot? No! Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Call for accountability, like I am now. Police that. I sounded the alarm when the biggest group in the genre and this art form collaborated with a gay-bashing, black sun-tatted neo-Nazi and an authority figure who's made great contributions, don't get me wrong, took the ego-soothing path and felt it was right to speak up, not as a means to condemn the Nazi, but to gotcha me because apparently baby metal not being idols in their eyes is a good reason to push back on the cause? Really? And more followed suit. Monkey see, monkey do. That's not even what's being argued. Baby metal is a gateway to Alt-Idol and their group that is indistinguishable from the typical Alt-Idol group. They're the biggest gateway there is. And to a layperson, they look the same. They look the same to the rest at first. So what's barring them? Jerks that come in here through song 3 are gonna do what they do. I mean, come on. What do you do? Tell them, sleeper than an idols! Swipe for their idols! Oh man! Come on, get a clue! Live in the real world! We don't need any more of this culture to cling to escapism to the point of losing grip with reality, which is connected to the entire wave of brain rot and decline in media literacy that we're suffering from right now. Police that! I'm coming off of 9 years in the Alt-Idol game, having lived countless lives in various underground music scenes and communities. I've seen so much light and darkness. And I want that for my scene, especially for those who feel unheard and forgotten about. Police that. Police me, the eternal rebel. I'm leaving with the Alt-Idol scene and the history of Anti-Idol book on July 17th at Connecticon. Who knows? Maybe I'll go rewrite the story in the visual case scene. Maybe I'll go back to NJDIY emo. Hey Ophnonius, how's it going? The reason why I'm leaving is because there are two worlds of Alt-Idol, the cult and the scene. And after I'm gone, the cult is going to continue to pretend that Watanabe is still king after tonight. After this, sure, he'll still make money and aura farm despite himself. But now that I, being the Morning Star, the light bringer of forbidden knowledge, his plot armor has been burned away. The passage of time, the growth of a new idol scene, and now that he's been dethroned, campfire stories about our great craft will wash away the folk legend of Watanabe, lost to time like tears in rain. So let's take a look at what Watanabe is doing right now. Leaving his company whack behind as a worker, but not as a leech and an ore farmer. Leaving Japan to go to the UK for university, where he seeks to drink beer with students who are half his age, because that's one step up from his maturity level. And yet, he gets deified as much as the biggest stars that he's funded. The way that I see people talk about poor Louis is, it's fine and respectful for the most part, but in comparison to Watanabe, it disgusts me that we have this visionary and maverick being talked about like a thing in the past. She should be in the annals of even Riot Girl by now, when she's still tearing it up with her group pigs to this day. Meanwhile, the leech, the demiurge of this all, among countless faceless suits in the idol industry, gets all of his toxicities brushed under the rug by a cutesy, glazing propaganda campaign run by glad-handed, nonsensical douchebag yes men, like a few of the shady characters you'd find on those Sausage Fest Alt-Idol Discord servers like r/passcode. Before he left his creation like the demiurge he is, I thought maybe after Watanabe's gone, Alt-Idol could be liberated and given the glory to become canon as a legitimate avenue of music and performance with all the other styles that the greater music and arts conversations hail, that they end up in the history books and the history of music, the history of pop, the history of rock, the history of music that affected the culture of the world at large. But the fact is, there's already a bunch of idiotic little Watanabes and little doofus Koba medals and the rest of their stupid orbiters. They spilled these colors out into the future, and that's why, come June 17th, I, the devil you can meet, vow to start on a fresh page of the book. Tonight, I dethroned the demiurge of Alt-Idol to consecrate the art. At Connecticon, I'm taking his history of Anti-Idol to refine its history and fortify its redeeming properties. And now it's out. to end this elegy of his heyday. Well, this was the dress. This is the dress that Micah wore at the Hydra that night. She's a lot of us, in a way. She's many of us that never were. She's some of us who need this and never had the chance. She is my Kamiyoshi, my old bias that never was. And now I put her to rest, released into the great beyond, so that her potential and shine can return one day, and many other Micahs of the present and future, properly slaying at the Hydra in a brighter, more kaleidoscopic future of this great art form. We feel the warmth from the incineration of his career. My name is Kristin Bleidd, the devil you can meet. And I am Legion. And so are we. And so are you.